everyone. My name is Kristen. I manage the onboarding team here at Houzz. So if you happen to have a dedicated rep, that is my team, and they're making sure that everyone gets onboarded and has a good grasp of the software and Houzz Pro overall. As a general agenda of what we're going to be going over today, as Cameron mentioned, the theme is work smart and stay on track. We're going to be covering the Clipper as well as selections, making sure we can pull in all of our product items seamlessly. We're also going to cover selections board, procurement, and our selections tracker, which is very exciting. We're also going to be going through change orders and how we can make sure we can get those situated really effectively. And we're going to be going through some additional resources, as well as our Learn Help Center and where you can access webinars. Okay, and then we'll end off, again, as Cameron mentioned, if you have questions, feel free to pop those in, but I'll also take some time to answer those within as well. But we're going to go ahead on that note. We're going to go ahead and jump right in with our first agenda item, which is going through the Clipper. So let me go ahead and switch over here. I'm going to share my screen. If you aren't already, I would get signed into your account. That way you can follow along. Okay. All right. So as mentioned, when it comes to workflow and working smart, the first thing you want to do is pull in products in a way that will both save you time and help you kind of really effectively manage those items as well. So to do that, we have a feature which is our Houzz Pro Clipper. This is the fastest way that you can pull in items. So first thing you want to do, if you don't already have it, is you're going to want to add that extension. So if you go into Google and you would type in Houzz Pro Clipper, okay, you're going to want to click on that second option, which is under the Chrome Web Store. Okay, I already have it added myself. But you'd go ahead and click Add to Chrome. It should take just a few moments for that to be added. Okay. And then once you have it added, you're going to want to head over to a page. So somewhere where maybe you source items. So we're going to go ahead and I have Pottery Barn open here. At the top right of your page, you'll want to pull in that extension. So you may see a little extension tool. It's a little almost like puzzle piece looking item here. You go ahead and click on that. You want to pull in your Clipper, and I would recommend pinning it as well. Okay, so again, it'll be Houzz Pro Clipper. You may not be able to see the emblem because it's like a black Houzz symbol, but I'll give you a moment to take a look at that. And then we're going to go ahead and you'd go ahead and click on that, and it's going to open up a sign-in page when you first use it. So you'd want to go ahead and put in your credentials, and I'll give everyone just a few moments to be able to do that. But again, what this tool allows you to do is go onto websites wherever you source your products and be able to pull those into Houzz Pro very quickly. So I'll show you a couple ways that you'll be able to do that. As you may see here, I have my Clipper up and running. On the top right-hand side, you'll see for this particular site, Pottery Barn, there's smart sourcing available. So this isn't on every single site, but for a large majority, we are compatible with smart sourcing. So this will allow you to pull in product information really quickly and seamlessly. So I'm going to go ahead and opt in yes here. Okay, and you're going to see that it automatically scrubs the page for some of those primary details for this particular item. So it'll typically pull in the first image that's shown here, but you can also, if you click the plus sign here and go to Clip Product Images, it's going to, again, scrub the page of all those images there so that way you can add them in. And then also, say you have this product in your own showroom or in your home and you want to be able to show that image, you can also upload your own image as well. Okay, so we have here, again, the core details of product title, cost, description. If I scroll down here, you'll see that there are a couple other items too that you can fill in that haven't pre-populated. Okay, and you can also adjust these really easily. So say product title, we can go ahead and you would just click backspace and you can type in anything you'd like there. And we also have additional tools. So say, for instance, there's not that smart sourcing available or you want to put something in manually. There's a couple ways that you can do that. So one is by highlighting. So if I go ahead and highlight this title here, you'll see this automatically pops up this bar on the right-hand side. So I can go ahead and select where I want this information to be added. So I'm going to go ahead and click product title. Okay, and it automatically transfers over. Another feature that we have, I'm going to go ahead and remove this again as an example, is up top here. We have this kind of, I call it a smart pointer. And this helps you source in pieces of information as well really quickly. So now you'll see that when I'm hovering over certain items, it's highlighting them. So you can go ahead and, for instance, I want to pull in that product title. I'll go ahead and click, and it also brings me that bar. And I'll move it to product title. So again, various different ways that you can go ahead and do that if smart sourcing isn't available or you want to manually add in information. All right. Once it's added in, as I was showing on the product title here, you can go ahead and make any adjustment that you'd like. You can add in your own markup, add if it's taxable, and again, populate any additional information that you would like for these items. Once you have this good to go, everything, all the details are added, you can go ahead at the bottom, you'll click Save to Houzz Pro. Okay, it'll give you a confirmation. And then in a moment, I'll go ahead and show you where that will add when we head into selections board. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just keep clipping a few items here. So I'm going to go over to rugs. Okay, let's say I'm working on like a formal living space here. So I'm going to scroll down on their page. It gives a couple different options. I'm just going to go ahead and go to wool rugs. Okay, your clipper will follow you, or you can X out of it and then click back in when you're on your item. So I'm going to go ahead and click onto one of the rugs here. I'm going to go ahead and open my clipper back up. Okay, it automatically, since I selected yes on this site for smart sourcing, it's automatically going to pull in. It's going to show you at the top when it's active. And I'm going to go ahead and click Save to Houzz Pro. Okay, and then I'll go ahead and I'll show you a site as well that doesn't have smart sourcing and just show you how quickly you can still clip in those items. So I'm going to go ahead and X out. We're going to go to lamps.com here. I'm going to go ahead and click into this table lamp here. And I'm going to go ahead and open up my clipper once again. So a few items are able to pop in for when I was last clipping on this page, but I'm going to go ahead and delete this. And I'm going to go ahead and start from scratch. So I'm going to go to clip product images. It's still going to scrub the page for those images that are on this particular page. I'm going to go ahead and select the one I would like to add and go ahead and clip. I'm going to go ahead and add in my information now. So I'm going to use the highlight option. That's the quickest for my workflow. And I'm going to go ahead and just move this over to product title. I'm going to highlight the sales price and move this to cost. I'm going to scroll down and take a look at any additional information that I would like to add. So I'm going to go ahead and just use these little key points here to add under my description. Okay. And then again, you can go ahead and populate any additional information that you would like as well that you want to specify. But I'm going to go ahead and just save this item. Okay, so again, really simple. Again, you can use different methods. So again, I use the highlight, but as mentioned, there's not smart sourcing. You can also use that pointer option. All right. Okay, so again, the clipper is a really, really quick way to be able to make sure we can get products into Houzz Pro as quick as possible. But I'm sure for a lot of you who haven't yet used the clipper, we're wondering, okay, perfect. Once I clip those items, where are they going? So we're going to go ahead and head into, I'm going to show you our selections board, and I'll show you how to incorporate those clipped items. Okay, so we're going to head over. Again, just to make sure everyone's on the same page, I'm just going to go back into our main Houzz Pro page, and I'm going to navigate over to projects. And the project I'm going to be working out of today is Kristen's home remodel. All right, and I'm going to head over. So you can either access the selection board from this dashboard, or you can go on the left-hand side and click selection boards. Okay, and the selection board is a wonderful tool and one that you can also customize, which is great. And it's a way to make sure that you can keep all of your products really organized for yourself, for your team, and for your client. If you aren't already familiar, there's a couple other tools that we won't go to as much in detail in this academy, but you can pull them into your selections board, which is our mood boards, which you'll see one that I created, as well as our 3D floor plans. On the selections board, so one of the really great things, and you'll see here different ways you can organize this. So you can, one, organize by room. So you can see here I had one created for formal living room and one for a bathroom. You could also organize by fixtures. So say, for instance, you want to have one selection board for lighting, one selection board for sofas. You could also organize it that way. Again, it's completely up to you and your workflow. What's great about this, because we're going to be tracking products, you can also add a budget to the selection board as well. So at the very top here, you can go ahead and you can create a budget for all of the rooms here. So if I click edit at the top, we'll just make sure we have project budget selected, and I'll adjust this. Let's say for this particular project and this client, it's a $50,000 budget. I'm going to go ahead and click done. And you'll see my bar's moving here. I'll show you how we're going to go ahead and incorporate that budget in a second. But what this will do is that this will help you keep track of your entire project budget. And then within each room, which I'll show you as well, you'll be able to add individual room budgets, which is great. To add a selection board, you're going to go to the top right and you'll click Create New. You'd go ahead and add in a room name, and then what's nice as well is that if you have team members that you added to your account, you can also assign team members to collaborate on these boards as well. I'm going to go ahead and click into a board that I already have, which is this formal living room. So we're going to go ahead and click right in. All right, so going back to that budget piece, so you'll see here that for each individual room that you have at the top right, you can create a budget specifically. So even though it's a $50,000 budget for the whole project, maybe my budget for this room is going to be $15,000. And we're going to go ahead and click done. So that way, as we go through and as our clients approve items, it's going to help us keep track of that budget along the way. And again, as we keep going, I'll be able to kind of show you how that interacts a little bit more. Okay, so within this selection board, what I've gone ahead and done, I wanted to show you first one that I pre-populated. So again, it's a really customizable space, and you have the option to add in project items, selections library, which again, I'll show you in a moment. Those are where those clipped items went. You can add in 3D floor plans that you created through Houzz Pro, as well as mood boards, images, and files. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start off with the selections library. Okay, so this is going to pull up all of those clipped items, and you'll see these are the ones that we went through together, which is that platform bed, the chunky wool rug, and the moon dance lamp. So really easily, you went ahead and you clipped it, and then it's automatically here for you to utilize and add in. So you can either drag and drop. So if I click this and drag it over, you can drag and drop into the selection board, or you can go ahead and you can just click an item as well, and it will pop up right at the top there. Again, just depends on if you want to add them in, then position them, or position them through a drag and drop. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and click out of here. We can go ahead and you can pull in project items as well that weren't currently selected. So say within the project you created like a separate mood board and things like that, your products will save for you to use. And you can also add products manually. So again, for a majority of these, I always recommend using that clipper tool if you can. But if you have your own products that you just want to add in yourself manually without the clipper tool, you have the option to do that as well. Okay. You could also add in 3D floor plans. So I don't think I have any assigned for this particular project, but if you have floor plans that you've created through Houzz Pro under the same project, you can go ahead and insert, and it will show that layout there for you to use. You can also pull in mood boards as well. So this is one that I created a little earlier, and I went ahead and pulled that in here just to kind of show that inspiration. Okay, you can also add in your own images as well, and then any files that you want to add in and track. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move into the customization stage. So as seen briefly, the best way is going to be to drag and drop. So if I wanted to, again, move this mood board up to the very top, you could do so here. Just give me a quick moment. I accidentally loaded the page. Okay, so again, this is just kind of giving views when I clicked into it and it then pulled me into my actual mood board, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to navigate back to that selection board. All right. Okay, and then a couple other things that you can do as well is change the sizing. So say you really want this layout to be smaller. If you click at the top right here, you can go ahead and change that size to small. So again, either small, medium, or large. Okay. And then another great way that you can organize your selection board is by sections. So say, for instance, as I have here, this is one example. I pulled in all my lighting into its own section. And you could easily do that. So say, for instance, I wanted to pull like these two items and I wanted to create a section from them. I can go ahead and do so. And then I can label this rugs. Okay. So again, I went ahead and did it by clicking the boxes, but you could also just create a new section as well. And it will go ahead and just create a blank section for you. So at the very bottom, if I click create new, you'll see it's blank and I can just go ahead and drag the items in. So again, whichever is easier for your workflow. And I'm going to go ahead and just delete this one here, this blank one. All right, so heading back to the top, I'm going to go ahead and start here. So item overview. So when you have a product, if you click on that item overview, it's going to pull in all the details. So this is going to look really similar to when you were going and you were clipping that item. So you can go, even after you clip it, you can go and make those adjustments. So it's not set in stone, which is great because sometimes, we're clipping an item, we want a particular price or add a certain detail and later on, maybe you don't want that. So completely okay. You can go ahead and again, add in additional images, change the main image, and again, go and update those details down below. Okay. And then also what's nice is that it automatically adds in a product link if you are sourcing from a site and you didn't add it in manually. So if I click in, again, it's going to bring me to the page where I clipped that item. And what's also nice about the selection board is that it's a great collaboration tool, both with your client and with your team. So if I click on comments, okay, it's going to pull up a little box here. So you can either choose client or team, okay? And you can go ahead and make sure you add team members as well. And so something you could do is say, for instance, you want to invite them in before you send this out to your client and you want to ask them like, what are your thoughts on this rep? Oops, sorry, everyone. Okay, and you could go ahead and just add them specifically and then submit. So that way they'll get notified, they can come through and see this comment and you can have a conversation. So again, if you're working with someone on the team or maybe you assign this for a team to be able to work on, they can go ahead and, comment to you as well and say like, hey, what do you think? Found this rug. So really great. And then similarly with your client, a lot of the client communication may happen after you share it with them, but they'll be able to go through onto these items as well and add in. So maybe they'll ask, you want to ask them like, hey, do you like this? Like they have it in 2 different colors. So you can also add comments for them to see as well. Okay, heading over to the more options. So a couple of things we already went through is changing the size, small, medium, or large. Fit image to width. So again, maybe you don't want that sidebar. You want to try to fill in that space a little bit more. Add to section. So once you create a section, you can always add separate items. So say I wanted to then from here add this to that rug section. I can go ahead and do so, and it's going to move below. You can also set it as cover image. So when I was showing you the main selections board page, you can choose which one is present first. You could also hide from client as well. So say you want this on here, but when you share it, you don't want your clients to see it just yet. You can go ahead and hide it from them. You can duplicate items, move items, and you can also remove from the board altogether. All right. Okay, so scrolling up again. So if I wanted to move forward and keep this here, again, you can always change the positioning at any time. I'm going to go ahead and go through the preview and share options. So I'm going to head to the top right. Okay, and say once you have everything set, you feel like you're ready to send this to a client, you can go ahead and go to view settings where you want to start. And you can choose what's shown when you share this with them. So you could either make sure you show item pricing. Maybe you want to remove the item pricing. Again, this will mostly apply to these down below, but you can see that the pricing is no longer present. You can choose to show quantity, descriptions, color, materials, and product links. So maybe you have your own pricing or sourcing where you get those products. You don't want them to be able to click in to see the original. You do not have to show that. It typically defaults not to. You can, of course, choose to show them. And then approvals. So I'll go back to the selection board in a moment here, but you can see on some of those items as shown below, they can approve or decline. Maybe for some of them, that's not an option. You just like say, for instance, this move board, it's just a move board. You don't want them to approve this or not. You can go ahead and mark this off for move board. So that way that's not an option for them. Okay. Then you'd go ahead and you would click share at the top right. You can go ahead and add in that person's email address. And then you could also share as a link as well. And then again, once you share this with your client, they'll be able to then view the selection board. And that's where, again, a big part of that collaboration piece comes in. Right. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go back to just selections board altogether. Okay, and going back to that piece when it showed cover image. So again, that's what's shown here. So it's that first image that's shown on the board here. I'm going to go ahead and go back into the board that we're working on. I'll just kind of go through approval. So let's just say either maybe you're working with a client, they're with you in person. You can go ahead and run through and approve the items manually. They can, of course, go through if it's an option for them to approve and decline. And then what's great is as they're going through and approving, so say they're like, I want this rug right here, you're going to see that then automatically applied to that budget up top. And this is a great way to make sure that we're keeping them in budget too. I know sometimes, eyes can be greater than maybe what you have. And so it'll just be a great way to make sure we're keeping things in check. And, they know like, hey, this is your budget. We want to make sure we're keeping in tow. Or maybe they love all the items and they want to add on, you can always change the budget as well. Okay, so again, if I go through and I keep approving, again, you'll see that it's going to continue to add to that budget up top. All right. And again, once you send it out, then your client can go through, they can leave comments, and you can go back and forth until you have a decision. All right. What you can also do as well, so say you have a selection board, you shared it with your client, if you've had your approvals, they've gone through and you decided what you're going to add in and so forth. You also have an option to convert this to either an estimate or an invoice. So if I go to the top here, okay, and I click on estimate, I know if you were in day one, there was we really covered estimates deeply. We'll kind of touch on some aspects of it on today's session. But scrolling down, you'll be able to add in the items that you want to then go to that selections board. So you don't have to do all of them at once. You can go ahead and say you just want to focus on those approved lighting items. Again, you can see as well. So if you only want to do approved items, you can go ahead and just select the items that were approved. Or if you want to stay to a topic and just do lighting, you can go ahead and just select the lighting options. And you'd go ahead and click convert for items. Okay, and then it's automatically going to create that estimate for you. So really simple and seamless, going from bringing in the items and your product items onto the selection board. You can collaborate with your client, and then with a click of a couple buttons, you can go ahead and transfer that over to an estimate, so that way you can send it to them for approval. All right. Before we jump into this piece, I'm going to go ahead and go back, and I want to go through our Amazing Selections Tracker, which is a newer feature for all of our builders here. So I'm going to go ahead and navigate back to my project, and I'm going to go to Selections Tracker. Okay, and before I jump in, Cameron, any questions that have popped up just yet?
I was about to respond, but I'll just give it to you. Great question from Catherine, who was here yesterday as well. Where is the budget pulled from?
Yes, so meaning, and just to make sure I understand.
Everything with a, I think what Catherine means is everything with a $ in here in the selections tracker, where's that pulled from?
Correct. So the budget itself, so that's something that you add at the very top. So if I go back into the board, so this is something that's manually assigned at the top. And again, anything with like a monetary value that you go and approve will add to it. So again, if you go to the main page here, you go to edit. Again, this is something that you add in on your own. So you'd click project budget and you'd go ahead and assign that budget. And then again, within each room, so going back to clicking in one of the items here, you can also create an individual budget for that room specifically. When you add items in here, again, you'll see if I go back, it does contribute to that overall project budget as well, so that we can keep track collectively.
Okay, Catherine, if that didn't answer it, please chat in, and we'll make sure we get to the bottom of it. The way I interpreted the question was, Kristen, if you go back to the selections tracker view, I thought the question was about everything here that has a $, where does that come from? So can you answer that question? Because each of these things with a $ attached to it comes from a financial document. Estimate, invoice, purchase order, anything you're going to track.
Right. So, and it just depends. So the financials, so for instance, on the document status, you'll be able to see everything that's connected or has been invoiced. But for here, so for instance, for financials, like it'll show you, so this section is going to be like where the unit cost was. So if I had an item here, like say this bathtub that I was working with, it's going to show that unit cost. And again, for each section, you'll be able to see where that's pulling from overall. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that helps. Let us know if not, Catherine. We're here for you.
Okay. Yes, let me know. I want to make sure it's clear for you.
And while I'm here, if anyone has questions, this is your time. Don't be shy. Everyone has questions. There are no dumb ones. If you have a question in your head, someone else does too. So speak up and we'll get it answered. And you'll get a live demo.
Yes. And again, let me know if it's not hitting the mark. Just let me know, and I'm happy to dive into it a little bit further. But all right, so heading into our selections tracker. So this is going to be like your one space to be able to view all the items in your selection board and to make sure that you're really managing them effectively. So it's also really great, like maybe you have someone on your team who just runs on procurement. This will be great to making sure that everything is organized. When you head into your tracker, it's going to pull into the all page here. So again, this is going to show all columns, all items. But of course, I'll show you in a moment how you can kind of cut down and really hone in on certain specific columns or items that are going to be the most important for you to track. So starting at the top, so if I kind of give a full range here, again, I am on the all view. So this is going to show all of those items that I've had in my tracker, along with various different columns here. So you can see that it's going to show you if this is connected to a document or like an estimate invoice, it's going to show you that status. So you can see that there are a few that I've already pulled over, including those lighting fixtures that I just pulled into that estimate. So you can see it shows that estimate that I just created for these items along with that number, and I can click into it really easily for quick access. Okay. And then you could also see the details, the financials. If I scroll over, you'll have order tracking. So this is a really big piece when it comes to the tracker that this is really used for, is to be able to track these items and manage them. Okay. There are a couple of different views. So if I go to the top here, It's going to auto to the stacked view, which for me is a lot easier. So that way I can see everything more so consolidated. But if you head over to flat, you'll see everything more so like an Excel spreadsheet. So all separated, all within their own individual column. But again, it's just going to be dependent on like what's best for you. Okay, you can also customize the views as well. So if this is a little bit overwhelming and you really want to make sure you're looking at all the columns that you want specifically, you can go ahead and you have the option to select if you want them to be turned on or off. So say you, for financials, you only want to see the purchase unit cost and markup. You don't want to see the profit per unit or any of these other items. You can deselect them. Okay, and you can also organize it by dragging and dropping. So say you want to make sure that your quantity is at the very top, you can scroll up here. You can move it to different categories as well. But if you want to change the overall categories, you can make sure that financials are at the very top and then click save, and it's going to go ahead and adjust that. So again, you can see it pulled all financials to the very, very top there. But again, you can customize these, and you can also add a new field as well. So say, for instance, you want one field to be able to show, we'll just say warranty. We'll go ahead and type that in, and you can choose the field type as well. So say you want a text field, so that way you can add in what the specific warranty is for that item. You can do so there. You can add in a checkbox. So say you want to be able to see, to mark next to an item. So if I go ahead and click save, and now I go all the way over here, you'll see added warranty under the additional info. So now you can go ahead and go to your items and say, okay, this one has warranty, this one has a warranty, and not. So again, you can customize that, which is great. Also, what's pretty neat is that you can add items here as well from your selections library. So let's say you didn't pull it into one of your boards, but you're like, wait, I want to actually track one additional item here that I didn't maybe have on my board originally. You don't have to go back into your board and add in the item. You can go ahead and do it here for easy tracking. So you go ahead and scroll down, select one of those items, or again, you can add in your own product as well. All right. You can see up top as well that we have a couple other views that you can take a look at as well. So as mentioned, we have procurement. So if you want just, again, those primary details here to keep track of, where you have, again, someone on your team who runs this is going to be a great view for them. So it pulls in all those items that would be necessary. So again, one of the big ones is going to be order tracking. And you can go and you can change your statuses. So maybe you want to go through and say like, okay, this one is still waiting for a quote. These have been ordered. These have been ordered. I'll show you in a moment where you can also create purchase orders as well. You can make sure you have all those really important details in here. And then we also have financial views. So again, not sure if it's related to your question, but it's going to pull in all the financial information. One, starting with the document status. So as we went through and added some of those lighting fixtures, you can see that we, again, created an estimate for these items already. It'll also show you once you've invoiced them, created a change order or purchase order for them as well. So again, making sure we have all of that tracked. You'll be able to see the pricing. So again, these are the purchase unit costs. These are what were added when you were clipping the items themselves. And you can also, again, adjust these fields here as well if you'd like. And then we're going to go ahead and go to planning. So again, these are going to be all the columns that we feel are really important to the planning phase, which is the description, the details, the vendor, and any specifications that you want to add as well. And then ending with document status. So again, where are we in the stage for these items? But again, love that this is fully customizable, and it's going to really make sure that you are able to track all of your products really, really effectively. A couple other things I wanted to go through on the selections tracker. If you scroll down, you can sort how it shows here. So right now I'm at created at, and you can go to newest to oldest. So you can look at the ones that were just clipped, or you can look at some of your initially clipped items or added items. You can also organize by title. So say you want it A to Z, you can go ahead and do that. It's usually going to start off with numerical values first. And then if I scroll down, you could also adjust by the category that they're in. Okay, and then you could also choose by like your first to last, by the room that you have, order status, shipping address. So again, this is going to be a big one. For instance, if you wanted to take a look at all the projects that are pending first, you can go ahead and do that. And then as far as the organization here, you can also, again, adjust how you're organizing it. So again, these are currently unassigned, and down you'll be able to look at the items that are assigned. But again, you can organize by room, order status, vendor, approval status, and then filters. So you can also filter by those that were just approved. So if I go ahead and click that and click apply, it's only going to show those items that were approved. Again, that's where I was showing you where you can approve and decline. So this will remove all declined or pending and just show you all the approved status. Go ahead and mark that off. And then you could also change by document status. So say you want to look at the items that are in draft stage, or you want to take a look at all those that have an estimate already tied to it, you can click apply. And again, you'll be able to see all of those that have been added to an estimate here, at least. Okay, a couple other ways that you can filter is if you want to by type. So whether it's a service or a product, a category, also room. So say you only want to look at that items in that mood board that that selection board that we were taking a look at. So I'm going to remove bathroom lighting, and we're only going to see the items that were in that selection board that we were just working in. Okay. And then you can also filter by order status. So again, if it's ordered, back ordered, delivered, or by vendor. So again, if you want to be able to see, again, all by one vendor, you can go ahead and do that as well. So lots of different options here. Again, you can choose to see everything if you would like, but of course, as I was showing you, you can customize those fields, those columns, and you can really choose how you'd like to organize everything and view everything to make it really easy. And then you have quick access at the very top here to boards, so you can always toggle back and forth for easy access. So boards, tracker, and you can go back and forth if you would like. Okay, and then lastly is you can have the option to export this as well. So right now, like say you wanted to share this maybe with like a subcontractor or again, your client in this sort of form, you can download it as an Excel sheet. You can download it as an FFE schedule, so PDF, or you can download as a tear sheet. So I can show you what those look like. So say, for instance, I wanted to download like a tear sheet of all the items. I could go ahead and do that. You can choose, again, what's added to that tear sheet as well. And I'm going to go ahead and click download and just give it a few moments while it's generating, and I'll be able to pop that right up for you. Okay, and it's just downloading right now. Okay. Okay, so you can see here, it kind of just shows like a bird's eye view of all of the items for you to share. So starting off with that sofa, and again, it's branded with your name and your logo, but it ultimately just kind of goes through all of the items there and all the details for just, again, a different look on this. So again, you definitely have options. So the first I mentioned when it comes to sharing is to be able to share that directly through the selection board, or again, you can share through those options, which is as an Excel, a PDF, or a tear sheet. So all the different ways to be able to make sure that you have this fully set up. Okay. Are we good on questions right now, Cameron? Just want to make sure I'm not going too fast.
No, you're going perfectly fast. There's no questions in the chat or in the Q&A. So if you have a question in your head, ask now. And if not, we can keep moving. I think we're making good time.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back. I know earlier on I showed you how to convert to an estimate. So we're going to go ahead and stick to that same track here, and I'll just go ahead and give a refresher on how I did that again. So within the board itself, and you have the option to convert. And you can convert to either an estimate or an invoice. I'm going to go ahead and go into that estimate that we had already created here. And again, you could also access it from your lovely tracker as well. So if I go back here, I'll go ahead and show you how to access it from there. So I'm going to go to the tracker. And as mentioned, I'm going to go to planning and then document status. So again, you can see all the items that are in draft, but you can also see any that have been attached to an estimate. These are the ones that we did earlier, and you have quick access as well. So I'm going to show you how to add in there. So I'm going to go and click into that estimate. It's going to automatically pop up for quick access. And we are back at our branded document. So again, I know estimates was a big topic for day one, but I'll just kind of give a really brief overview since we have a little bit of time. But on your estimate, you'll be able to see, again, your company information, your logo. You can add in your client details of who you want this sent to as well. It's going to pull up those items that I wanted specifically to take a look at. What you can also do as well when you send this out as an estimate is you can add in a payment schedule or payment method. Again, I highly recommend to set up online payments through Houzz Pro. That way you can get paid really easily and make sure that you are tracking all those payments as well. So if I go to schedule a payment, again, you can choose one, or you can set up like a payment plan, which I know is really helpful. So say you want to break it up into two, you can go ahead and do that as well. But again, completely up to you. And you could also add a payment name, a due date, and the method that you would like for them to pay with. And you can also specifically request a deposit as well. So again, you could do that super quickly, one through this prompt here, or if you go into settings and online payments. Okay, you can add any additional files that you want to attach to this estimate, your terms and conditions, a cover note, and the most important is we want to have this signature option. Again, you can turn it off if you don't want an e-signature, but highly recommend keeping this as well, just so you have that extra validation from the estimate when you send it out. Okay, when you go ahead and send it, you can go ahead and preview it beforehand. Apologies. And this will, again, give a bird's eye view of what that client is going to be seeing when they receive it. And you can also, similar to that selection board, you can change what they can see. So whether you want to show the pricing, detailed breakdown, you have the option to customize this. Okay, and then a really similar as well to sharing that selection board, you'd go ahead and just add in their email. And then you can add a message. You can also share this as a link as well. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go back to edit, and I'm going to go ahead and just manually approve this just for the sake of this demo here. I'm going to go to actions, and I'm going to go over to approve. I'm going to approve this. Okay. And then what's also nice is that you'll be able to see as you're going through getting, your own approvals from your client. At the very bottom, there's always an activity stream that you can access as well. Okay, so this has now been approved. You can see it's in an approved status. So a couple things that we can do from here. I'll show you quickly how to create a purchase order. You can also create change orders as well. So again, as you can see, we're kind of on this theme of everything being connected. To give a recap, we went through, we used the clipper to bring in our products. We then added them directly to our selection board. From there, we're able to easily convert it over to an estimate. And then from here, you can create a purchase order or a change order. So again, trying to make your life as easy as possible. So you can go ahead and you can create a purchase order or change order with all the items, or you can choose which items that you want to select as well. So if I go on the left-hand side and I go over to select these two lighting fixtures, and I go ahead and go to create purchase order, or at the top, there's an actions dropdown as well where you can do so. So I'm going to go ahead and create purchase order. You can add in your vendors, so you can use one that you've already created. We have a default vendor if you want to add one in later, or you can create a vendor on the spot. I'm going to go ahead and add that in. And you can also, again, if say, for instance, you actually only want the purchase order for one, you can go ahead and remove it at this stage as well. And I'm going to go ahead and click create purchase orders. Okay, and it creates another branded document for you for that purchase order. So again, we're making sure that everything is very organized. From this stage, again, you can still update these primary details and to make sure that this is all in order so that we can send it to your vendor and they have all the information needed. Also, you can set up payments through here, files, terms and conditions, and view your activity stream at the very bottom. Okay. And then from here, you go ahead and similarly, you'd go ahead and you could either download this as a PDF. So say you want to download this, print it out, and actually take it to that vendor and give it to them in person. You can, of course, do that. You can quickly copy the link to be able to share it out. You can preview as well. So again, this is going to be really similar to the other models where you can update the settings, choose what can be shown or not, and then you can send this out. So again, we try to keep all the processes really similar that way. You really only have to learn it once, which is great. Okay, and then what I'm going to go ahead and do now is we're going to head back and we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a change order. So I'm going to go back into estimates here. We're going to go into that one that we were just looking at, which was approved. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and create a change order. I did want to give a call out as well. I know that I was talking about online payment. So what's great too is that when you send this out to a client and you have online payments with us, again, you'll be able to automatically track the payments as well. So once they paid, you'll be able to see that it was paid within the document itself. You can also send payment reminders, and then you can also log payments as well. So say I wanted to, maybe they gave a check for an item, you can go ahead and log payment. Select check, the amount, reference number, click done. And again, we'll make sure that all of this is on here so that we have visibility and everything going on with this estimate. Okay, but say we have all this, this was approved, this was paid. And I know sometimes, we think it's clear cut and it's, nothing else is going to come up, but realistically, sometimes they do, and we need to make a change. So whether it's we need to make an adjustment in pricing, or, maybe we need a duplicate of an item, anything of that sort, we can go ahead and change. So I'm going to go ahead and head into just one of the items here. Select the box to the left-hand side, and I'm going to go ahead and create a change order. Okay. Again, on that same trend, we still have our wonderful branded document here with all the information. Again, this one just specifically a change order. A slightly different model here. You'll see that there is now planned and then updated. So I know I didn't add in the pricing here, but you can choose, what that original pricing was and then what it's going to be added to. So maybe this is going to be, maybe the quantity changed. We could change it, and we could change the price as well. So I'm just going to add in $50. Maybe we want to change the quantity as well. So now we have 2 at that new unit price. Again, you'll be able to see the original, which if I had a pricer, it would show the original planned and then what's added. And then it will show the difference. So it'll show that original plan cost as well as the updated cost. And then you'll be able to similarly set up the payments. So the payment name, amount, and then a file, term and conditions, cover note. So similar structure again to all of the past documents. That way we keep it streamlined, as well as a signature. Again, when it comes to pricing for the purchase order, we wouldn't need signature, but like for change orders, estimates, invoices, it's always recommended to add there. And then you go, you could either as well download as a PDF preview, make sure everything looks good here. They can see again those payments that are upcoming, and then you can send it out. All right. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go back. So we're going to go into the selections board and or the selections tracker, and I just want to show you how things have updated a little bit since we added to those documents. So I'm going to go ahead and refine this. I'm going to go ahead and just make sure again we're looking at what we were just at. And then now if I scroll down, you'll be able to see, again, all those things updated that we looked at. So those 2 lighting fixtures, you can now see that there is a purchase order attached. You can also, for this Beatrix chandelier, you can see the change order we created on it and the purchase order. So again, as you're going through the document phase, whether it's through estimate to invoice, change order, purchase order, it's automatically going to read on this selections tracker as well. So that way, again, you don't have to do some of these things manually and ultimately save you some time. So again, auto populates there, so that way you are all up to date. And again, as you go through and send your purchase orders and you get updates, you can go through and make sure that we're organizing everything accordingly. So on procurement, you can go through, it can change your order status, all those things. But again, we just want to make sure that everything is in this one space and we can easily track it all.
Sounds good. All right, Kristen, we got a whole bunch of questions.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, it was quiet in here, and then all of a sudden the browser refreshed, and there's a big long list of questions. So apologies to the folks in the audience who I wasn't ignoring you. The browser was being silly. Okay, from Catherine. How do we create an initial estimate for the client that includes allowances for finishes, and that we can use it with selections later? So basically, can you help me understand how the approved selections flows through to an estimate?
Yeah. So I'll show you just one. I'm not sure if it was part of it, just how to create an estimate from scratch or from the selections board. I'm going to go ahead and go back into my main project here and show you different ways to navigate that. So if you go to estimates, you can go to new estimate up top. You can create one from scratch. So again, I showed you just how to do that conversion, which I'll show you again in a moment. But you can create estimates from scratch and also from templates as well. So if I go to templates, I'm just going to use that for a quick start here. We're going to go ahead and just click create. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and go to add items here from parts list. And I'm going to go to selections library. Okay, and you can go ahead and see those items here. So one just that we're in this project, and you can also see all of your items as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click this drop down here. But then from here, you can go ahead and add those items in. So that's one way you can do it. So we clipped those items, brought them in. You can create an estimate, and then you can go ahead and add in those items from the selections library. So I'll go ahead and just add in a few here. Again, they're just ultimately going to add to that estimate that I had. Okay, and they're showing up here at the bottom. And then you could go to customize, show images, and save. And then you'll be able to see the applicable images. And again, my internet's kind of cutting out a little bit, but hopefully you'll be able to see that. And then again, I'll do a refresh again of how I moved that selection board over to an estimate. So I'm going to go to selections board. And I'm going to click into my first one here. Okay, and then at the top, there's that convert option. So again, from here, adding in my products through my selections library here, making sure that all the pricing is correct. And then you go to convert, and then you can create it directly from an estimate to an estimate or an invoice, and you can select which items you want to be transferred over. Okay, hopefully I answered the question.
I think so. There's another question from Amy about converting a selections board to a PDF. When you do that, you cut off some of if the product name is long, the product name gets cut off. Is there a way to display the full product name, even if it wraps onto 2 lines, for example?
It should. Let me go ahead and we can go ahead and do that together here. Let me go back into, selections tracker. Okay, so I'm going to keep all my items. I'm going to go ahead and export, and I'm going to go to a PDF here. Again, you can see, you can choose which items are in here. I'm going to go ahead and download this, and just, again, bear with me, give you a moment to let this download and for me to pull it up. Okay, and if you can see this, so if it is long, and I'm not sure if the question is if we can have it all in one without page breaking. As of right now, it would. If it's longer, there wouldn't be a way we can customize it to where it's going to be able to show all in one line. But again, you'll have all the information there as well. So like on this olive charcoal, it'll just move to like a new line break. So again, you'll be able to see the info. It just right now you can't customize it to where it's like only on one line.
Got it. That's what I thought. Okay, thanks. All right, what else is in here? Did that one. There was another question from Tiffany, so let's make sure we cover this too. Explain the financial section in the tracker, specifically markup, profit per unit, total selling price. How do you use those fields, and what are they for?
Yeah, sure. Let me go ahead and I'll move over to financials here. So again, the first thing that pops up, of course, is document status. That way you can keep track of everything that's been associated with a linked document. Over to financials, this first one's going to show the unit product cost. So again, this is just going to be the primary pricing for that item. And then if you have like your own like MSRP pricing, you can go ahead and keep track of that as well. So that's typically going to be done through the item itself. So you'd want to go through and make those adjustments, which I can show you how to do in a moment. You could also show the unit type. So again, this is only one unit. If on like the estimate, you went and you added like a duplicate, it would then update the quantity to 2. So that way you can see that. And then over here is going to be the markup. So say, and I know that a lot of our, this is used heavily, is that maybe you have an item with a pricing, but you have your own markup. You can add that in as well. And I can show you where to do that on the estimate here. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to pull in one that hasn't been added just yet. So let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and just pull one of these. Let me go back to the boards. I'm going to go back into the estimate field where I can show you where you can make some of these financial adjustments too. I'm going to go to convert and we're going to create a new invoice. I'll just pull in these 2 items and convert. And again, I want to show you the 2 different ways where you can go and adjust those financials. So starting off here, so going back to that quantity piece, again, if you wanted to change the quantity from here, we can go ahead and move that over to 4. You can change the unit cost from here as well as the markup. So as mentioned, say you wanted to add in like a 10% markup to this item, you'd go ahead and just add in 10, and it's automatically going to make those calculations for you. Again, we're still sticking with the original unit price, and then you could also, again, take a look at total. So again, once you add that markup, it's going to, again, change those numbers accordingly. But other places where you can change some financial components too is on the selection board on the actual item. So if I go to selections board, and we're going to head back in, and we're going to go ahead and look at those items. So I'm going to go down to the products, and if we go back into the overview, this is also where you can go and make those financial adjustments. So scrolling down here into this section as well. We've already moved this into a pending status, but you can go ahead and again change the financials too. And then also, sorry, I want to make sure you have all the coverage of like where you can make the adjustments. But say for instance, like we're going back to even like the very start of clipping items. And I'm going to go ahead and go back into my clipper. And let's go into a new item here. Okay. Okay, so even from like inception, when you're bringing in products, you can go ahead and again adjust the costs, and then on the right hand side, you can make sure you have all the initial items that you want. So you can do like your markup from here and so forth, add any additional information that you would like. So again, just want to make sure you can show everything. You can put your MSRP in here in the beginning as well, which again, it's all showing on that selections tracker detailed. But again, hopefully that answers. I just want to show you again what all the pieces are associated with and like where you can add them in. Are you still there, Cameron?
Sorry, my browsers are being silly today.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good. There's no other questions. We can keep going.
Oh, okay. Well, it looks like we might have a little bit of time. I know we went through some of the core topics aside from some of the resources, but Karen, if we have time, I mean, I can go through mood boards, things like that, if you'd like.
Let me look at the poll that we did in the beginning, because that was sort of people voting on features that they wanted to see. We covered estimates. There was some interest in 3D, some interest in schedule, a little bit of selections, a little bit of mood boards.
Okay.
We
So
didn't.
maybe I'll go through. I know that again, day one, where some of those other pieces, like more of the financial. So I'll kind of stick to the design topics. I'll go through a really quick overview of mood boards, really quick overview of 3D floor plans, and then I'll show you where you can access some additional resources.
That sounds great. Let's do that.
Okay, perfect. So as you see here, I know that you've been seeing this one through a majority of our demo, which is this mood board I created here. Of course, you can click into it to access it, but I'll show you just from the start, get-go, where you can click into create a mood board from scratch. So on the left-hand side, we're going to hover over to mood boards, and I'm going to create one from scratch. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is create a mood board. So you can go ahead and assign it to rooming. These are the ones I've already added in, but let's just say here we want to just add in living room. And again, on some of them, you can add in like a certain type, or you can change it later. But again, this is just the initial name, and the initial name of the room. We're going to go to create mood board. All right, so it'll prompt you with a couple things to get started if you want to add products, add swatch, add a floor plan, or add an image. So going back to where we started with clipping in some of those items, you can also access your library on the right-hand side to add them to your mood board, which is really convenient. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to, maybe I want to brand this mood board with my logo. I'm going to go ahead and click on the image there and then just easily drag and drop. I'll move that to the very top corner here. Okay. You can go ahead and add the clipped items. Okay. And then what's really great too with a lot of our products here is that we have the option to like remove backgrounds for certain items as well. So say I'm going through, and for this sofa here, I want to try to scrub that background so that way we don't see the windows perhaps. You can go to edit background, manual. You can do like an automatic removal where you go through and you can adjust that. I'm not super keen on this one myself because I'm not great at it. But again, you can do that and restore, or you can have it automatically removed for you. So you can see here it does a nice scrubbing without me having to do it. And I'll go ahead and click apply, and you can just have that item singled out. So again, just dragging and dropping where you'd like it to be. You can add in a couple of light fixtures. So again, just showing how to add in products here. And of course, this is not great, so you can go ahead and scrub these as well if you'd like, and position them. You can also source items as well. So if you need some inspiration, but you want to use real items, you can pull from our marketplace that we have as well, where there's lots of options. So you could either look in our search bar, or you can look by category. Okay, so we're going to add in just a couple of rug options. Okay, and just move those on over. Okay, and then a couple other things. You can pull in any ideas from your idea books that you pulled in from your profile, any images, so you can upload your own inspiration and items if you'd like. You can add in paint colors, which is a really great feature. So we partner with Benjamin Moore and Sherwin-Williams. That way we can have really accurate swatches, and so that way your clients can be able to really immerse themselves. So if I go ahead and just click over and you click on the swatch that you want to pull in, you can go ahead and do that and drag and drop. So that way you can kind of let them know, like, hey, are you looking for Simply White or maybe Easter Lily? These are two that I recommend. Okay. You can also add in any three floor plans that you've made to be able just to kind of give an idea of the layout. So if I click that, I can go ahead and pull these in too. A couple features up top. So you can change the background color as well. So again, if you want to be, red or a different hue, I'm going to go ahead and just stick here with the clear background. You can go ahead and what a couple things I want to show is you can also, draw or add like a shape. So say for instance, like I want to add an arrow to a specific detail. I can go ahead and just add that. I'm going to go ahead and click over where I want it to go. And then up top, you can choose if you want to just be a line or an actual arrow here. And then you can always like reposition it later on as well. Okay, you can also, we have this ruler tool as well. So say you want to show like the length of an item specifically, you can go ahead and do that. And then you can add in, I'm just going to put in a random number here, which may not be realistic, but it's just there to be able to show you what those measurements are. And then a couple other things too is you can, of course, add in text. So I'm going to go ahead and click there, and then you can add in the text. So you can add in, maybe it's like a style that you want to add in, or like a call out, like a material. So I'm just going to go ahead and just put wool, and you can go ahead and just hover over again the items. That way they have those additional details, but again, you can really add in anything you'd like. And then you can adjust the fonts. So we actually just expanded our fonts, which is great, because I know this was a really big request. So you can change your font, you can change the color and the size as well, and then bold and italic for formatting. And then a couple other things too. So one is automatically remove image backgrounds, which you can do, and also the snap to guides. So that way it makes sure like it pulls in. So you can see here, we have these guides here, which are always really helpful. And then a couple other things too, as far as positioning. So say you want to maybe position this couch over one of these carpets. I can go ahead and click on the carpet. I'll go ahead and just move it over. It shows you the degrees. That way you can make sure it's level if you'd like. And then like, so say for instance, right now, this couch is pulling behind this carpet. We could either click the three dots in order and then bring forward. Sorry, everyone, let me go ahead and do it one more time. Okay. So if it's like there's multiple layers, you can bring forward. If you want to move it to the very top, you can move that up. That way it's on top versus behind it. And then you can also skew items as well. So say you wanted to add depth to this carpet. If I go ahead and go to more and go to skew, you can go ahead and kind of skew it. So that way you're at more of like a perspective, or maybe you want to show it going down a hallway or something of that sort. You can go ahead and do that as well, and then move that over. Okay. And again, this isn't the most aesthetic mood board right here, but I just want to make sure I could kind of go through some of the main functions. And then at the bottom, what we recently added as well is that you can add multiple pages, so that way you don't have to have separate mood boards. So like maybe you want to have 2 different mood boards for the living room, and you want to be able to show different styles. Maybe one's more like modern, and you want to have one idea that's more farmhouse. That way you can kind of pitch these ideas to your client. At the very bottom here, you can go ahead and go to add new page. And that way you can go ahead and create a new one. You can just toggle them at the very bottom. Beforehand, you had to go and create fully separate mood boards and click out and click into them. So this has been a really big game changer. And then a couple other things is you can duplicate as well. So you can see here, so maybe you want to make just like a slight difference between one and the other. You can go ahead and duplicate, you can delete, and you can hide one as well. So again, lots of options when it comes to creating the mood board, but also a really great piece if you want to create a mood board and then go into your selections board, you can do that. So it really just, again, try to make this really customizable and tailored to your workflow. So again, whether you want to make the selection board first or the mood board, it all kind of reads similarly, which is great. And then on the last topic of 3D floor plans, so we're going to go ahead and head back into project stage. I always like to do that just so you can kind of see everything from if you're like first clicking into it. And we're going to go to 3D floor plans. Okay, and then a couple ways you can do this is one, you can just create one from scratch. You can do a 3D room scan, which I'll touch on in a second, and then you could also upload a 2D plan. So say you want to pull in like a blueprint you have already, there's a way you can do so, and it'll help you kind of measure out like the walls to frame. That way you can like easily pull in items, and that way it's set to the correct scale. But we also have wonderful templates that you can work off of, which is really helpful. I'm going to go ahead and do that here. So I'm going to go to the living room templates, and I'm going to go and use this template here. All right, and I'm just going to give it a moment to load here. So there are different views. So one's going to be the main floor plan stage, which is typically where you're going to start off, because you want to make sure that you have like your walls measured, and you want to make sure that you have all those like default structures in. So you can see here, you can go ahead and click on an item to adjust the measurements. You can click into it specifically if you want to add in your own specific measurements for this wall. And then you can change a couple other things. So say you want to change the thickness or the height of this particular ceiling, you can do so manually as well. So those are, again, one of the main things. You can draw additional walls as well. So at the top left, if I go to draw walls, you can go ahead and just click your start point, go ahead and go down. We'll just make maybe a small room here, and then end the structure, and it's going to create a new space for you. Also, one of the first things you'll want to do is add in flooring. So you can see I just highlighted the floor here, selected flooring, and I can choose a similar finish, or I can change it to another one here. Okay, you can also select from tile or carpet. And then other primary things, once you have your wall measurements, you've drawn your walls, you can, again, make adjustments to the ceiling. You can add in doors. It's really simple. Just click, and then you drag to where you'd like it. So if I want to add a door, I'd click here, and it's gonna go ahead and just snap to where we need it to be. And you can change a couple of things, like, do you want the door flipped, or do you want the door to open in or out? So of course you can customize those things. And then a couple other of primary structures would be like windows, if you have a staircase, wall partitions, and things like that. And then after you have all the structure set, you typically want to move over to the products section. So we have a couple of more general products here. So say you want to take a look at, let's see here, more so the living room furniture. You go ahead and click, and we have lots of items here that you can choose from, so that way you can start to build out the living room. So maybe you want to add in a bar cart. You'd go ahead and do that, and you can again drag it to where you'd like that to go. And you can also, for a majority of our items, you can change the finishes as well, so that way it's more immersive. So you can click this drop down, and you can see there's an option for matte black, nickel, gold, again, whichever is gonna suit your style needs. You can also, similar to the mood board, is that you can source items as well from a marketplace, which is great because it gives that realistic view to an item in your space. Then also, of course, if they like the item, then you have a place where you can go and source from right away. So if I go, you'll be able to see, again, these are the items as they appear in our marketplace. So if I wanted to maybe add in this chair, I'll go ahead and do so. And then in a moment, I'll kind of show you the dollhouse view so you can see a more realistic view of this. Okay, you can also get upload drawing as well, or camera, which I actually do want to go through. But first, I'm going to go into the dollhouse to be able to show you this in a more realistic view. So if I head over to dollhouse up top, again, way more immersive than a floor plan view, but it kind of shows everything like within the space itself. So again, just kind of bring everything to light, bring everything to life, adding that extra dimension to it. And you can also make some adjustments while you're here too. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out. That way you can see everything. So from this field, you can still go and change some of those finishes. That way you can kind of see it in this format instead. So say you want to change the flooring over to this one, you can toggle back and forth. You can also change the wall color. So as I mentioned in the mood board, we also use those partnerships in the 3D floor plan too. So you can really show that realistically those paint colors. So if I go here, again, you can toggle between Benjamin Moore and Sherwin-Williams and look at real paint colors in real time. So I'm going to go ahead and just go to the top here. Maybe you want to make one of these walls a different color, you can do so. And then if you ever want to change, maybe you're like, wait, that does not look great, you can just go ahead and click this undo button and it will go back to where it was beforehand. But again, a much more realistic option. And then a couple other things, some newer items that we've made is that we have different camera angles, and depending on your package type, if you have an essential or above, you can also make photorealistic images. So it takes a few moments to generate. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this right now, and we'll go ahead and come back to it if it allows us to do so. So I'm going to click generate, and then hopefully we'll have enough time to be able to view that in a moment here. But one thing I did want to touch on while we're here, I'm going to go ahead and go into a video. I know I wasn't able to fully show you guys because I don't have my phone to be able to demo. But depending on your phone type, we do have a technology where you can scan floor plans as well. So I'm going to go ahead and head over here, and we're going to go to the bottom here, which I'll touch on in a moment, which is a really great space. But I'm going to go to the Help Center, where we have lots of videos. I'm going to go to 3D Floor Planner. And I wanted to show you how to create a space with our LiDAR feature here. I'm going to go ahead and just search it here to make sure I have the right one. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this up, and I'm going to expand it. That way you can view it. All right, so hopefully you were able to hear that. If not, I know we had a really great visual there. But again, if you have an iPhone, iPhone Pro 12 or newer, and are running on at least iOS 16, you have this capability. If not, maybe you have Android, which is great because they recently added like a point to click. So it's not necessarily with the LiDAR technology, but you can still go through the room and kind of point where the walls are to be able to help you create those bases from the app. And then once you have this all scanned in, again, you would then go just like right back into your 3D floor plan. You would be able to see it in your main space on your project. It would show up under My Floor Plans, and you'd be able to go ahead and click in and then make edits just as we were. A couple of things that we've also added this year is that you can create like an outdoor space as well if you would like. So if I go ahead and go up top here, as you can draw an outdoor surface if you'd like. So we're going to go ahead and just pin it here and then add to the top. And then we're going to go ahead and just want to make sure it's connected to another wall. Again, not the best here, but you can go ahead and make that outdoor space as well. We have certain options for outdoor spaces too. So pavers, if you want to ground cover, like maybe you wanted to add grass out here, a deck or pavement, you have that option now, which is great. So again, a little lopsided there, so sorry about that. I just wanted to kind of take a moment to show some of those newer options. So again, just as a recap, you can create from scratch from a 2D plan. You can use the scanning feature. You can look at models in floor plan view, dollhouse, and also if you have a bigger model, you can use the walkthrough too. So this kind of puts you like in that space as well, which is great to make sure that can make it a little bit more immersive. And then let's see, I'm going to go ahead and check on that generated photo and see if it's up. If not, I'll show you where we can get a resource on that. Let me go ahead, and I think we have it here. Perfect. Okay, so you can see we were just in this space. So we created this this photorealistic image, and now you can see it in a much more realistic viewpoint. So it takes a few minutes to generate. You can go and choose your angle. You can then click to confirm, and then you have this wonderful visual here. So again, another way to kind of add that realistic view for your clients. You can create your space, kind of create those angles of where you want that snapshot taken, click to generate the photorealistic image. And now you have this really wonderful image that you can share. So again, this is another one of our more recent features, which I think is a game changer, which is awesome. Okay, and then I think that was a majority. Are there any last questions before I head into additional resources, Cameron?
No. Well, actually, there's a question from Frank. Let's see if we can pull this apart. Is the LiDAR now also adding the existing items to the model?
It does, as you saw. So it's not going to be all, but if we have one that we can capture. So for instance, you saw it scanning like a bed or a dresser. We will, if we have an item that's in our general, in our generic product section it will be able to capture those items too, and you can adjust them. So again, say you're scanning, it's going to pick up a bed. It'll add that into the floor plan, and you can move it just as if you added in the item. All right. Okay. Well, I'm glad. Hopefully, less questions means hopefully this was thorough and really helpful. But I also want to be able to show you where you can access additional resources, which we have a ton of, to make sure that you feel really comfortable using all these features. So if we head down to the bottom here, one, if you do have a dedicated support member, you'll be able to access their information here to book a meeting and go through some of this in more detail. But if not, or maybe it's the weekend, you really want to make sure you're getting a deep dive. We have many options. I'm going to go ahead and start here with the Help Center. This is the probably most widely used, but you can see here that you can browse by feature. So if you wanted to go into more of the selections section, which we covered for a majority of this session today, you can click into selections, and it's going to give you those resources. So one, how to customize what your clients can see, how to avoid duplicate items, download the tear sheet. So a couple of these are more popular questions here that are articles that we have. We have a product library, and then we also have video tutorials as well. So if you want to see again how to organize selections within the selections board, you can view so here. You can also type in questions. So if you want to say like how to create an estimate, it's going to bring up all the articles that we have related to. So typically you'll have up top the one that most fits, so how to create estimate in minutes. But again, many other resources that are tied to that you can use. So again, the Help Center is a really, really great tool to be able to use to get started. And then going back to the main page here, if they go back to that question mark, a couple other things too that you can take a look at. One is our certification. This is a really great, I really recommend this, especially if you're really looking to become like an expert on all the things in the software, is that we have the certification program where you can go and it's going to walk you through like the primary aspects of Houzz Pro. So through account setup, getting the online payment set up, all the way down to the CRM, projects, so forth. So this will, one, give you a resource that we can learn about the item, but also give you tasks so that way you can gain a certification, and we'll send that once it's completed. So again, really great if you're looking to dive into everything on the platform. We also have training as well. So we have many webinars aside from these academies that are really, really helpful. So you can see the academies that we're in right now are showing, but we also have additional like proposals deep dive, some like best practices as well, which is really great, really helpful. So again, really, really recommend going through these. And then last thing I wanted to go through are, again, just like any like blogs that we have that are really helpful. And we also have just like different resources that you can use too. So we have a getting started webinar that you can access as well as just like other tools in relation to some of these items. So again, lots of places where you can go ahead and get extra help. And again, I hope that you found a lot of value from this session as well. But I'm glad I could be here to help you feel more comfortable. I think it's really important just to be able to see how everything's really connected and how you can use Houzz Pro to keep track of your products and your projects and your communications, and really just try to make life easier for you all. But I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you all joining. And Cam, I'll let you wrap us up.
All right. Well, thank you to all 31 of you guys that stayed till the end. This was great. I love hearing the questions. I love hearing the back and forth. We have a third session tomorrow, same time, if you want to get deep on a couple of other topics. And I will give you 2 minutes back. You all have a great day. It's great to talk to you all, and take care. We'll talk to you soon.